Nice stretching session this evening. Get into our hips, whole body. Fabulous. So, we'll start with our feet hip width apart on the edge of our mat, so make sure you got room in front of you. Good. And just to start, we'll go onto our toes, back rock onto our heels. Just start with a little bit of ankle mobility. You're really going onto those toes, always trying to really reach through your ankles so you come up to the top. And just gently think about just drawing that belly button in, not forgetting what we work on as well. Good. Getting that nice rock back onto our heels, lifting our toes up off the floor. Lovely. Couple more. Good, and then back down onto your heels. So start with bringing our chin to our chest. And let those arms just right, hang those down towards the floor. And just gently unravel your spine, curving from the top right down to the bottom, bringing your fingertips down towards the ground. Nice and slowly, no rush, get a nice feeling on feeling through your hamstrings. So when your fingertips touch the floor, we're going to walk out to the opposite side of the mat, lifting our heels off the floor quite far with our hands, so we can bring ourselves down into a plank and bring those hips down towards the floor. Lifting our head up, getting a nice arch through our back, and then coming back up into your downward dog, slight version. Walk your hands back towards your feet, and then gradually bring yourself back into standing. A whole full body movement, drawing that belly button in as you come up. Lovely. We'll do that a few more times. And just take each little bit nice and slow. There's no rush. Gradually unfold your body, coming down. Fingertips coming down towards the ground. And walking yourself out into that downward dog, but keep going with your hands and slowly bring those hips down towards the ground. Lovely. Resting your knees, bringing your hips down, lifting your head up. Get that nice arch through your body. Bring yourself back into your downward dog and slowly walking your hands back towards your feet. Getting that stretch through your hamstring. And then gradually bring yourself back up into standing. Drawing that belly button in. Lovely. Good. And again. We'll do it a couple more times. Fingertips coming down towards the ground. Give that nice soft bend in your knee as well. Walking your hands out. You might be able to get a little bit further with your hands. Bringing those hips down towards the ground, your knees. Lifting your head up, arching through your back. And then coming back into downward dog. Walk those hands back nice and slowly, little bit by little bit. Back into standing. Let those shoulders just hang down. Lovely. Let's do that one more time. Gradually Little segment by little segment. Unravel your spine. Folding at the hips, walking your hands out. Hello, Pickles. To the other side of the mat. Gradually bringing those hips down, knees onto the floor. Good, lifting your head up. And bring yourself back to downward dog. Getting that stretch to your calf. Walking your hands back and gradually bring yourself into standing. Lovely. And lifting your head up. Good. Just start with some nice shoulder rolls. Backwards. Once you're into standing. You guys can't see, but I have someone taken over my mat. Yep. And roll those shoulders forwards. Here we go. You coming in? One in, one out. Lovely. Just taking some nice breaths, keeping those shoulders rolling. Good, and then back down. Good, if you grab your bands, fold them in half and bring them behind your back. Making sure your thumbs are pointing inwards and not outwards. Lovely, so we take a nice wide-ish stance, not too wide but wider than shoulder width. Pinch those shoulder blades together, nice soft bend in our knee. We're going to fold at our hips, bringing our arms up behind us. Getting a bit of a chest opener. And also a nice hamstring stretch. Holding it there for a breath. And then bringing yourself back up. Lovely, breathing in, coming down. Nice and slowly. That band to hold and open up your chest. Obviously holding the band closer towards the middle. It's going to open up your chest a little bit more. Good. Lovely. And that nice hamstring stretch at the bottom. Lifting your hands up as far as they can go. Gradually coming back up. Lovely, last time. Good. Lovely. Now bringing yourself back up. Just undo band to the side. Good. And we're going to stand shoulder width or hip width apart, and then we're going to go across our left leg over our right leg in front. We're going to use our left hand to anchor ourselves down, and we're going to bring our right hand up and over. So we get that nice stretch, shifting your hips a little bit over to the right, so we get that stretch right the way through, up into our shoulder. Good. Bring it back up. And again. Nice breath in, bringing your arm up, breathing out, shifting your hip a little bit to the side, reaching up with your arm. Up and away. Good. And back in again. And again, breathing in, lifting our arm up. Breathing out, reaching up and away, over to the left with our right hand. Left arm. Just trying to anchor ourselves down a little bit. Good. Bringing ourselves back up, and one last time on this side. Lovely, bringing ourselves back up and crossing our leg, cross our right leg in front of our left leg. Good, right arm staying nice and loose, breathing in, lifting our left arm up. Reaching out or breathing out, reaching over to our right side, shifting our hips just a little bit to the left. Good, and back up into standing. Lovely, and again. And you might find a difference between left and right side. One side might be slightly tighter. Good, coming back into standing. And again, breathing in, lifting arm up, breathing out, shifting our hips over, really getting that nice reach with our top arm. Feel that stretch all the way through that side, up into your shoulder, your armpit. Good, one last time on this side. Lovely. And bringing ourselves back into standing and crossing over our leg back to get back to our nice wide stance now. Walk those feet outwards. Good, there's two ways you can do this. You can do this in standing. So we're going to lean over to our right side and we're going to keep our hips nice and low as we shift our weight over to the left. So we get a bit of an adductor stretch. If it's too tight through your hips, just point your toes out slightly. Yeah, keep those hips nice and low, Joe. So instead of going over, slide them. So imagine you're parallel to the floor. If it's easy, you can come forward, hands on the ground, and then again just shifting left to right. So you just get that support through your upper body. Either one. Sometimes you can get probably a little bit deeper when your hands are on the floor. It's not a bad practice to do it upright, especially perhaps after riding, maybe in the morning before you ride. Gets your upper body thinking about its position. Just getting a nice active stretch through the hips there. So don't be afraid if you're finding one side a little bit tighter, just to hold it. Just encourage a little bit more through one side compared to the other, or if they're equally as tight. Just make sure you get that nice stretch in the inner part of your thigh. Good. Shifting side to side, keeping your breathing nice and calm. Keeping even weight through balls and heels. Don't be tempted to come up onto your toes. Keep that nice grounding through that, what they call the tripod. Just by your big toe, that ball there, on your little toe ball, and on your heel. Yeah, just do a couple more each side. Maybe starting to feel a little bit more give. And those adductors a little bit further. Keeping those hips nice and low. Good. One more each side. And last one. Good. Walking our feet inwards. And they're about seat bone distance apart. Now you can just bring our hands up so we can hold our elbows, just bend our elbows so we keeping that fold at our hips. Just trying to elongate our back. Let our hamstrings just try and release a little bit. As you breathe out, that nice ragdoll. Don't be afraid. If you like, keeping your bending your knees, just rocking your body side to side. Just encourages your lower back to give slightly. Lovely. Release those hands and just gradually bring yourself into sitting, into standing even. Roll that belly button in. Lifting your head up. Good. Let's keep our arms nice and loose. Keeping those shoulders anchored down. We're just going to bring our chin to our chest and then bring our right ear towards our right shoulder. Keeping that nice loose feeling through your shoulders down towards your hands. So imagine you've got weights in your hands. They're anchored down. You're just opening through a little bit more through your neck, so that nice neck muscle that we often get quite tight in. Breathing out, just try to relax those shoulders down a little bit more if you can. Lovely. Keeping that chin tucked in, we're just going to switch sides so that left ear comes round towards your left shoulder. Again, keeping those shoulders nice and low. Lovely, bringing our head back to centre and back up again. Lovely. Let's bring ourselves out into a nice downward dog. So walk to our edge of our mat. Chin to chest. Let's go with our feet shoulder width apart. This time, and gradually just let yourself roll down segment by segment. So your hands on the floor, walking them out towards the other side. And keeping that bend in your knee if you need to keep that nice straight flat back. Feeling a stretch through your calves here. Let's just bend one knee straight and the other. Keeping that nice flat back. So we're just bending at the hips, pushing through our palms and fingers. Lovely. And keeping your breathing nice and calm. Nice and slowly. Trying to get a bit more stretch through here. So if you're finding one calf, one ankle, just a little bit tighter, just hold it for a few more seconds. Good. Lovely. Let's put even weight through both feet. Trying to lift those hips up. And get that nice flat back. Good. Nice breath in, and then bring both knees down towards the ground. And placing them hip width apart. Just readjusting your wrists if they need to. So they're underneath your shoulders, so we're coming into our 4 point Kneeling, untucking our toes. We'll just bring a nice breath in. Just do a few cat-cows again, just to get a nice extension through our back. Tucking our chin under, getting that nice rounding, tucking our tailbone as well. Breathing out as we do. Lovely. Good. Breathing in, dipping through your chest, lifting that head up. Lovely. Good. Couple more. Lovely, then coming back to neutral. So again, up and down, we'll go side to side. So almost bring your shoulder down towards your hip. Rounding through your head, almost looking where you're going. So almost like how it stretches in our horses. The way you're going to do it here in 4-point kneeling. So looking round, bringing your shoulder towards your hip. So you kind of stretch out the opposite side. Almost trying to bring that opposite shoulder. So if you're bending to the right, that left shoulder almost comes around with you. Don't be afraid to lift your palm up off the ground. So again, you get a nice stretch through. These tissues up, muscle up, and that's on the other side. Good. Do one more on each side. And then back to centre. Bring our toes together. Widen your knees. Always try and make them a little bit wider than mat distance apart. If your floor's comfy enough to do that. And then shift your weight over your heels. Lovely, just letting those hips sink towards the ground. So you probably get, as your knees are a little bit wider, probably find you get a nice stretch with those adductors. Just tilt my camera down so you can see. Good, so sinking your hips down, forehead on the ground, letting the tension go as you breathe out. If you want, you can just walk those fingertips forward a little bit so you get an extra stretch those lats. Just relaxing your body a little bit further towards the ground. Letting your weight sink down through those heels. Lovely, and then just slowly bring yourself back up. Bring those knees inwards. we just come into kneeling for a second, or you can grab your bands. Just bring the ends together so you make a nice little loop. Come up off your heels, and we're going to loop one ankle around the band. Your other foot's going to come forward, or the opposite foot's going to come forward. Good. There's a bit of balancing this one, but you're going to bring your TheraBand over that shoulder. Feel nice and tall through your spine, tucking your tailbone under as you do, and you'll feel that stretch down the front of your thigh. I'm sure you will, Tina, in your hip flexors. Good, and obviously the tighter you hold it, the more stretch you'll get through the flexors, but don't forget to tuck your tailbone under. If you're not really feeling it, walk forward a little bit with your front foot and bring those hips towards the ground. And of course breathe, don't hold your breath. Lovely, remaining nice and still if you can, keeping that balance. Sustaining that nice tuck under with your pelvis. Good, almost drawing that hip that you're stretching a little bit further forward. Push it forward, you might get a little bit extra stretch. Lovely, and then just releasing the band off your shoulder and taking our front leg behind and just switching over. So we're looping the other leg now. Opposite leg comes forward, bringing the band over our shoulder. On the same side, tucking under with our pelvis, pushing forward with that hip, or walking that front foot forward, pushing your hips down towards the ground. Whatever you can do just to help stretch out those hip flexors. Just don't fold backwards with your lower back. Keep that in a nice neutral position so you're feeling tall as well through your spine. Or shorten the band if that's. Different ways, different options you can use just to help stretch off those hip flexors. And breathe, releasing that tension as you breathe out. Lovely, a few more seconds. Keeping that hip pushed forward. The stretch might ease, but if you can intensify it a little bit more, just means you gain that extra little bit of mobility. Lovely, and then just release the band. Good. Bringing ourselves back into kneeling, and we'll come into sitting. Good, so we're going to bring, to start off with, band to the side, we're going to bring both legs out in front of us and just place our feet on the floor with our knees up towards us. We're going to cross one leg over the other, and you can either walk that front foot a little bit further towards you, or you can shift with your hands your pelvis or your seat bones further towards your front foot, so the stretch just gets a little bit stronger. And try and push through your palms and through those fingers to keep your back in a nice neutral. People tend to slump a little bit. If you're feeling tall, you get that hinge more so through your glute here, through your hip. Gets a little bit more rotation as well, that's why the stretch intensifies as you come up straight. And of course, breathing. If you're finding that the stretches ease, just try and make it a little bit more. Try and get a little bit more mobility, so either just bringing again your front foot towards you, keeping that nice tall posture, or shifting those hips forward. Lovely. Walk that front foot away from you so you can take that leg back down, and we'll cross the other leg over. Now this is where you might feel a difference between each side. You might have started with the nice easy leg and now you're onto the old stiff hip. Good, so keeping that nice tall feeling through your spine. Don't let yourself crouch over. Push up through your palms, fingertips. Walk that front foot either towards your bum or shift the pelvis towards the foot so you get that nice stretch. Good. A few more seconds. Keep that nice breathing out. Try and relax yourself a little bit more into that stretch. If you can. Easier said than done. Good, and then walk that front foot forward and cross your legs. Good, coming back into a normal seated position. We're going to straighten one leg and we're going to tuck the other leg in towards our adductors, our middle part. We need our band and we're going to loop it round our foot. We're going to hold the ends. Good, so to start with, we're going to point our toe towards our head. Nice breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to lean forward, bring our chest down towards the ground. We're going to point our toe towards the ground, away from us, sorry. Good, breathing in, pointing our toe towards us, lifting up with our chest. Breathing out, pointing our toe away, keeping that tension on the band, bringing our chest down. Good. So we get a little bit of neural stretching here, working on through the tissues. But we're really biasing one side now, so both legs. Just focusing on them. One side, we will do the other one. Yeah, and just see if I get a little bit further each time you go down. Don't be afraid to help yourself with the band, pull the band so you can bring your chest down a little bit further. Good. Not forgetting to tuck your chin in as you point your toe away. Lovely. Now keeping that ankle at 90 degrees. So we're not moving our ankle now, we're just going to bring our chest down towards our knee, towards our thigh. And we're just going to hold it down at the bottom there. And relax through your calf, through your legs. Might get a bit of a hamstring stretch. Might be through your back a little bit. Almost allow your chest just to fold down. Good. And then slowly bring yourself back up. Lovely. Good, and we'll just switch legs. So straighten the other leg, tuck the other leg in. Looping the band round. Our foot. And again, starting with our foot pointing towards us. And we're going to tuck our chin in, point our foot away, bring our chest down towards the ground, towards our upper thigh. Good, point our toe towards our head, coming up into our nice seated position. So just working through our nerves on the other side. Really get them mobile through all the tissues. Good. Pointing that toe away, tucking our chin under. Coming up into sitting, pointing our toe towards us. Good. So it's a nice smooth movement up and down. So it's almost, imagine a little string in the toe connected right up to our brain, and we're just flossing it through the tissues. Good, couple more. Lovely, and almost time you're breathing. Breathing out as your chest comes over. Breathing into top. Lovely, now keeping your ankle at 90 degrees now, just folding at your hip. Chest coming down. Either feeling it in your back, in your hamstring, in your calf. Using the band just to help a little bit with that bending over. You can almost encourage yourself to come down a little bit more. Lovely. Breathing out. See if we can a little bit further. And taking a nice breath in, bringing yourself back up into sitting. Lovely. Unlooping the band and popping it to the side. Bringing your feet inward. So we've got our feet together. Good. Putting it all nice through our seat bones. We need a cushion mark, but actually that's looking pretty good. Good. So get that nice tall feeling through your sit bones, and now try and pull your knees down towards the ground, so you get that again, that stretch through the adductors. Use your elbows if you need to, but sometimes that compromises what you're doing with your upper back. Good. Get that nice breath. Allowing that relaxation through your inner thigh, through those hips. Lovely. Just a few more breaths. Lovely. And bringing your knees up. We'll straighten one leg. And we need our band. We're going to loop it around our foot again. Okay, then we're going to sit tall. This time we're going to use the band. I don't know if you can see because of the cage. Of the band, but you're going to roll your ankle round to one side, back round to the other, almost trying to get a bit of a stretch as the toe comes up towards the ground. Trying to make it nice, one smooth circle that you make with your ankle. It's a nice little bit of ankle work as well, this. Don't always work on our ankles as riders, but it's really important to need that stability in the stirrup. Also nice to keep that range in your ankle, stop them getting stiff. You need them for a little suspension. Good, and just change direction of the circle. And again, trying to make it a nice smooth circle. Good, one last one. Good, and we'll just unloop the band and we'll switch to the other side. Lovely, and again, start with one direction. Nice circles. And nice, smooth. Get that nice inversion, eversion of our ankle while we're doing this as well. And you might find that one ankle is just a little bit harder to keep nice and smooth. If not, that's absolutely great. Good, and we'll change direction. Lovely. Hopefully your ankle's not clicking out mine. Good, one last one. Lovely, and then just looping off the band. Good, let's shimmy ourselves down our mat and let's bring our back down towards the ground. Lovely, bring our knees up and we're just going to cross one leg over the other. Bring our arms out in a nice T-top position, so out the way. And if you've crossed your right leg over, legs come over to the left side, look over your right shoulder. If you've crossed your left leg over, legs go to the right, looking over your left shoulder. And the hand that you've got next to your knees, you can use just to encourage a little bit more rotation through your spine. Always trying to bring that knee down towards the ground. Keeping your opposite shoulder anchored on the ground. So don't let your shoulder come up as you bring your knees down. Good, breathing out, just trying to get a little bit more rotation if you can. Lovely, bringing your knees up to the top, switching over legs. Good, and rolling your legs to the opposite side. So like I said, left leg crossed over, roll to the right, right leg crossed over, roll to the left. Keeping that shoulder, the opposite shoulder anchored on the ground. You can always use your hand near your knees just to encourage a little bit more rotation. If you're tight through your chest, you might feel it through your chest. If you're tight through your glute, you'll definitely feel it in your glutes as the knee comes over. Good, and allowing yourself just to relax into that stretch. You might just be able to gain a little bit more mobility through there. Good, nice breath down, a few more seconds. Lovely, and bringing your knees back up to the top. Arms down by your side, and we'll just straighten our legs back on the floor. You can always bring your arms above your head if that's quite nice, but just close our eyes. Take a nice breath in, and as you breathe out, just try and relax through your body. Shifting that weight down through the floor. And as that stretch off a little bit, so closing your eyes, taking a nice shallow breathing now. Just trying to relax through your head, neck and shoulders. Taking that feeling down your arm, right to your fingertips. Releasing the tension through your upper back. Letting those hips sink right into the floor. The legs just sinking into the mat. Tension's gone from our hips right through to our toes. No muscle should be switched on right now. Your body should just be feeling rested on the floor. All that should be moving is your rib cage as you breathe in and out. Lovely, and when you're ready, open up your eyes and just slowly bring yourself into sitting. Lovely, good job guys. I hope you're feeling a bit sleepy now.